Some people have been quite upset that Aegon the Conqueror came to Westeros not because he was a bloodthirsty, greedy monster bent on ruling, but because he had a dragon dream that showed the coming of the others.
But ambition alone is not what drove him to conquest. It was a dream. And just as Daenerys foresaw the end of Valyria, Aegon foresaw the end of the world of men. It is to begin with a terrible winter, gusting out of the distance.
This has started a chain of Targaryen rulers that had the one goal to hold the Seven Kingdoms together and strengthen it as much as possible. So it would make sense if Jace is heading north to treat with potential supporters of his mom that he might hear from the Starks about this threat. So, will the Wights be in Season 2 of House of the Dragon? If you stay past the Roaring Dinosaur, I have an answer for you that may or may not be what you're expecting. If you don't want spoilers for Season 2, please don't watch. While the Wights are not mentioned in any lore before A Song of Ice and Fire showing up or being a problem after the Long Night, it doesn't look like the writers of House of the Dragon are going that way. So we already know that Jace will visit the Wall and beyond during Season 2 of House of the Dragon, when he stops to treat with Cregan Stark. Jace visiting the Wall is never mentioned in lore, but from set leaks, they are definitely going that way. Because from filming leaks, not only have we seen sections of the Wall, but we've also had leaks of the Night's Watchmen on the march. So Jace and Cregan are definitely taking a visit, but why? Initially, I thought Cregan wanted to show Jace why the North was important and what was important to the Northerners, and at that time, joining the Night's Watch was still a super honorable thing. However, with leaks at the Leavesden studio of undead makeup chart for reference, it looks like we might actually be seeing some undead, which is super exciting. There was the assumption that the others weren't active during this time, but maybe they were just patiently building their army back up after the Long Night. This could add to why Torrhen Stark, after trading a ton of letters back and forth with Aegon during Aegon's conquest, decided to kneel to him without a fight. He understood that they had the same fight, and Aegon promised him, hey, if you kneel, if you don't fight, you can keep your numbers and we can keep strengthening the Wall and strengthening the Night's Watch to defeat the others when they finally come down. This knowledge could be passed down to each Lord Stark, but may be lost similarly to how it's lost amongst the Targaryens. Whoopsies happen, and sometimes a lord or king dies before information can be successfully passed on. I would imagine after Jace sees the undead with his own eyes, he goes back to his mother to report what he's seen, which leads him to suggesting the dragon seeds to get more riders for their unclaimed dragons. He realizes this fight goes way beyond his mother and his mother's claim, but to saving the entire realm from the idiot Hightowers and the others. Now warning, Season 2 spoilers based on Fire and Blood and World of Ice and Fire lore are coming, and they're pretty intense spoilers, so 3, 2, 1. This could be where the information gets lost. Rhaenyra reveals the prophecy to Jace, but Jace is killed while getting his brothers to safety, and Rhaenyra never gets the time to pass the information to any of her other children. I mean, after this, Jace is dead, Aegon is in captivity, and it's presumed that Viserys is dead. Rhaenyra is also pretty consumed with a war. If I had to guess with the Starks, maybe a large amount of dragons being reduced after the dance makes magic maybe a little less in the world and the Wights retreat a bit. And there's the whole thing about passing the information. Cregan's children, his boys, become Lord of Winterfell one at a time, but each of them die and it goes to the next brother. And then the next generation has kind of a similar problem. It's a little bit crazy. So I would imagine this information could get lost. Now you're wondering, okay, if the Wights are so close to the Wall that the Night's Watch know about it, why would that information be lost with them? Why wouldn't they just tell the new Lord Stark? Well, it could be with the reduction of the dragons, the Wights end up being pushed back, or it's not as strong, so they have to wait a little bit longer. And then, you know, after those generations go and all those Stark boys die, the new Night's Watchmen, the younger people, might view these stories as just, okay, old men or long dead men, and they're silly ghost stories. We know in the Seven Kingdoms, they all have short-ass memories. Like, some major things have happened, and it seems like a few decades later, they're like, oh, I don't remember that. They say a lot in the novels the North remembers, but I don't think that's actually true. I, for one, would love for Wights to be seen in Season 2, and for that to be added to lore of why the king that knelt, Torrhen Stark, ended up doing what he did. Obviously, there were other legitimate reasons for him kneeling. He saw a bunch of dragons, he realized he was gonna get crushed, but I prefer them adding on to lore this way. But let me know, like, subscribe. Do you want to see the undead in Season 2?